Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you a game played between Mikhail Tal and Janusz Zugusta. So here Zugusta was white. He played d4, the queen's pawn opening, and Tal replied with knight to f6. It's a main line in this position. Here Zugusta played c4, immediately taking the control of this d5 square. And here Tal played g6, the king's Indian defense. Zugsta replied with knight to c3. He's planning to play e4 now, and this d5 square is in full control for white. Here Tal developed his bishop to g7, and Zugsta immediately took the center with e4. Here Tal played the main line in this position, d6, trying to play e5 or c5. Here Zugsta played f3. He's supporting this e4 pawn so that it can't be taken away by this knight on f6 on future. So here Tal just castled kingside, and Zugsta played bishop to e3, developing his bishop now. And here Tal played e5. He's taking up the center, and now after the exchange it will be better for black. After rook into d8, queen into d8 and rook into d8, it will be a much better position for black. So here Zugsta played knight g to e2, giving support to this d4 pawn. Now here Tal played c6, trying to play d5, taking away the center. So here Zugsta played queen to b3, stopping this d5 idea, because now this queen will be attacking this d5 square also. So here Tal immediately took this pawn on d4 with e into d4, and here he took a central pawn, and here Zugsta took this pawn with knight into d4. He is taking a control of the center with his knight. Now here Tal sacrificed a pawn with d5. Zugsta immediately captured with c into d5, and after the exchange c into d5 and into d5, Tal played brilliant knight to c6. Now he is trying to open up this d file for attacks, and rook e8, then this e file will be also wide open. So Zugsta captured this knight with d into c6, and here Tal played rook to e8. Now this bishop is under attack, and also this knight on d4. So Zugsta protected both of them with king to f2. He's supporting this e3 pawn, and now this queen also can't capture this d4 knight. So here Tal played a brilliant move in this position. Can you find that move? Yes, it's a rook sacrifice. It's rook into e3. Now Zugsta is thinking why he played rook into e3, a rook sacrifice, because if Zugsta takes this rook on e3 with king into e3, then there is bishop to h6 check, king goes to d3, and we have been to c6 and trying to play c5 and bishop to f5. Even though while black will be an exchange down, it will be a much better position for black to play. So Zugsta, instead of taking this rook on e3, he played rook to d1, giving support to this d4 knight, and also trying some discovered attacks on this queen after knight to f5. Here Tal played another brilliant move. Can you find it? Yes, it's now a knight sacrifice with knight to g4 check. Now Zugsta took this knight on g4 with f into g4, and here comes another brilliant move, bishop into d4. Now black is trying to play rook into c3, discovered check, and this queen will be lost. So white has to play rook into d4. So Now this rook is being captured with the queen. Queen into d4. Now also rook into c3 is threatened by black. So here Szukszta played queen to d5, trying queen exchange after queen into d5 and knight into d5. But here Tal played another absolutely brilliant move. Can you find it? Yes. It's again a rook sacrifice. It's rook to e2 check. Now this king has only one square to move. He has to take this rook on e2. So he took it as it's a double check. He has to take with his king. King into e2. And this bishop comes into attack now. Bishop into g4. It's a check on the white king. Now this white king has only one square to move. It's king to e1. And white played king to e1. And now Mikhail Tal played rook to e8. Check. Now this king is again forced to play bishop to e2 because he has no other squares to move. He has to play bishop to e2. So he played bishop to e2 and here comes another rook sacrifice. It starts with rook into e2, check. Now this king, if it comes to f1, then there is queen to f2, it will be a mate. So after rook into e2 check, white didn't play king f1, he played knight into e2, taking up this rook. But now here black just immediately took this queen on d5, and now white loses his queen, and here's Szukszta resigned. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. If you enjoyed this game, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. Thank you.